Hey everybody, so I just wanted to help here with talking about the instructions for the Indigenous Youth and Climate Change article and its instructions. So this is another Newsella article, so you just click on one of the links. This is the English language version and this is the Spanish language version, so just click on whichever one is easiest for you. And remember that you do need to log in with your school Gmail account, but once you do, it should give you full access to the article. Indigenous Youth Take Global Stage in Madrid to voice climate change worries. So as you read through the article, you'll want to answer the questions that we've got here. So the article refers to Naniza Peter and Kwana Chasing Horse Potts, who are part of the climate change protests as Indigenous people. What do they mean by Indigenous people? So literally, what does that phrase mean? And you may need to look a little bit outside of the article unless you're already familiar with it to get a good definition of it. But again, what do we mean when we're referring to Indigenous people? Number 2, why would people in the age range of the two young women in the article, 15 and 17 years old, be more upset about climate change than some older people? Think about the difference in impact that it has on younger folks as opposed to older folks. Why would younger folks be protesting about it as opposed to older folks in some cases? Number 3, the two young women in the article convinced leaders to declare a climate change emergency in Alaska. Why would Alaska be at great risk to heat-related climate changes like melting glaciers? So again, think about the impact there. Number 4, the article mentions how historically, Indigenous people were not given the chance to speak out about climate change and other environmental topics. Why would it be important to get the perspective of Indigenous people on issues related to the environment? So again, when you're talking about when we're referring to Indigenous people as a group, what do we mean by that? And then why is their voice important as part of this discussion, even though they weren't included before? Number 5, why were the young women against climate change proposals that support, quote, fuel-based markets? So they use that phrase specifically in the article, so they explain a little bit why they had issue with that. Number 6, the article mentions that Crawford Pakotak objects to the protest. He is one of the leaders of the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation, a for-profit, meaning one that is seeking to make money, organization that works on selling and distributing fuel through pipelines. The profits the corporation makes go back to investors who are Indigenous people. Why does this interfere with Nanais and Kwana's protests? So again, take a look at, we've got one organization here that's refining fuel and distributing it. Why does that interfere with these climate change related protests? What's the conflict of interest here? And then 7, which side do you agree more with? Do you think Nanais and Kwana are correct in saying that fuel development should stop to try and preserve the homeland of these Indigenous people in Alaska? That's kind of what the main focus of the article is about. Or do you think Crawford is correct in saying that fuel development could help economically support the Indigenous people of Alaska? Explain your answer. So it's not enough to just pick a side. Talk about why you support one side over the other. So again, I hope that this assignment makes sense. It's another close reading assignment. But if you do have any questions on it, please feel free to call me, email me, or you can show up to our science department Zoom office hours every Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 10:30.